right in on the melody?
Well, why don't you come right in the melody at the beginning?
At the beginning, come right in.
Yeah, just keep it simple, keep the form simple. Maybe do the solo, next solo, do the melody
Yeah.
again, and then we'll end. And then at the end would be nice to do, if we go for 17 the last time. Recording the actually take a break between each, so I think we will.
Is this right here?
I'll like the patch if I can.
Right, so 2 times through the melody, solo, solo, 1 time,
No,
out.
I think one time for the melody.
1 time, solo, solo,
Yeah.
melody out. Okay, that's
That's
fine.
not okay, so let's start, together, so, we'll get ready.
Oh, we are doing together? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Do I just go for it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get ready, let's just do it twice early. And then right Mississippi, we'll just do the solos twice early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I like right Mississippi River.
Feeling good, good, right, get down. So all you gotta do,
Cool.
somebody's gotta keep track of that. I'm sorry, I thought we didn't have a physical, does anybody have a physical ordinance?
It'd be better if we had like tubs.
Yeah, well, my phone's being used to take the service, so I can't look at it. So you'll have to let us know, be really clear about it. And now we are doing hymn number whatever, now we're doing this song. Because I don't have a,
I do believe.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, you're introduced. Actually,
Yes.
after you do one, you don't need to introduce that one, I will.
You got one good, very interesting version.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But maybe I'll say after I do share the plate, maybe for something, and I'll say now we'll have to do it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I just say no.
So that's after the reading. Yeah, that's great. And then I will. So you'll know at the end of
And I'll sound, I'm happy to sound the gong and then come back on here.
So I'm gonna be waiting.
Well, for sounding the gong, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, great.
Whenever we go live, whatever that is.
Here we go. People get ready?
Ready. Good morning. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. My name is Kevin Baston, and I'm a member of the Worship Associates Ministry here at the church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. On this wintry Sunday morning, we especially welcome all joining us online and want to note that in this morning's email, there were 2 links. That second link in the email is correct, the one that says hymn links. It includes both the order of service and lyrics to the hymns and other parts of the service today. Our virtual coffee hour today is at 11:30 and will be hosted by Rachel Rose and the Welcoming Committee. The Zoom link is in the weekly announcements and the Sunday morning email. This morning, we have a Share the Plate from Lisa Lackman and Melva Oken for UU Justice United. Because we're meeting virtually, I will share a message on their behalf. Please remember to make donations for today's Share the Plate online through the church's website. For today's Share the Plate, Side with Love asks for your generous support for UU Justice North Carolina. The Unitarian Universalists Justice Ministry of North Carolina. In this month that holds the anniversary of a violent threat to our democracy, in honoring of the unfinished racial equity work of Martin Luther King, and ongoing reminders of climate change and destruction, we ask you to honor our UU values with a donation to UU Justice North Carolina. UU Justice North Carolina's mission is to joyfully organize UUs across 20 congregations in our state to contribute to a transformative movement for justice. This work spans racial, economic, immigrant, environmental, and electoral justice. Some of the work in 2021, including fighting for federal voting rights legislation, fair redistricting, Medicaid expansion, and for Duke Energy to transition to renewable energy infrastructure. UU Justice North Carolina is a nonprofit with no direct funding from the UUA and relies on generous donations from UUs across the state to do its essential work. In 2022, UU Justice North Carolina is excited to again be a part of our national UU the Vote campaign. In 2020, UU Justice United activated more North Carolina UUs than ever before in our history, writing 30,000 postcards, over 950 hours phone banking, and so much more. This next year is pivotal for our democracy, for racial justice, and for the climate. We are in a time of both opportunity and threat. Let us support UU Justice North Carolina with our time and our financial support. Thank you for considering investing in this work. And we'll now have a musical presentation, Mercy, Mercy, Mercy.
Thank you for that rousing music, and good morning to all of you Unitarian Universalists out in virtual land. It is good to be together on this cold, icy, snowy morning. Even if it's only virtually, it is still good to be together once again. Are you feeling good this morning? Perhaps you're at home sitting in your jammies under a nice warm blanket, maybe drinking a cup of coffee or hot cocoa. I hope you're comfortable and feeling safe and not out on the roads. But I do want to give a shout out to the musicians and the celebrants who are here with me in the sanctuary this morning for braving the roads and joining me. So thank you to all of you. You know, we often think of worship as being a quiet, reverential, maybe serious activity. But there's no reason worship can't be joyous, exuberant, lively, and engaged. And I hope that if you're feeling a little low by the world or personal circumstances, that our service this morning will lift your spirits. This morning, we are going to focus on our whole bodies, our minds, and our souls. And we begin with lighting our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Kevin? If you happen to have a chalice at home, I invite you to light it as we light ours here in the sanctuary.
Words for today's chalice lighting are by Calvin O'Dane and can be found in the online order of service. If you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. May our time together renew our hope. May the stories we share refresh our courage. May the songs we sing lift our spirits. May the words we speak invigorate us. May the touch of hands, the sound of laughter, the sight of faces new and familiar restore in us faith.
Our opening hymn is probably familiar to many of you. It is number 389 in our gray hymnals gathered here. And I know that some of you may be interested in using your body as we sing this hymn. And if that is true, I invite you to follow my hand motions as you sing this hymn. And I'll be joined up here by some more community choir.
here in the mystery of the hour. Together here in the mystery of the hour. Together here in the mystery of the hour. Scattered here as one body. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here on this day. Gathered here in the struggle of the hour. Spirit of Spirit, joy of the power. Spirit, draw near.
We have two readings this morning. The first reading is a modern telling of a traditional Indian parable. 5 people wearing blindfolds were once brought into a room in the middle of which stood an elephant. Each person was directed to a different part of the animal. And then all 5 were encouraged to explore and discover whatever they could. The first person explored one of the elephant's legs. "This creature," she said, "is like a strong tree." The second person was led to the elephant's tail. "No," he said, "it is like a thick rope." The third person was investigating the elephant's ear. "You're both wrong," he said. "It's like a giant palm leaf." "No, no, no," said the fourth person, who was engaged with the elephant's trunk. "It is like a thick snake." The fifth, who'd been led to the elephant's body, simply laughed to herself. "How can they be all so wrong?" she thought. "This thing is like a huge boulder." The 5 argued with each other for some time, all certain that they were accurately describing what they were experiencing, none able to change the mind of even one of the others. At last, they took off their blindfolds and discovered that each was right and each was wrong. It was only when they combined their descriptions that they began to understand the elephant. The second reading, by spiritual author Thomas More, is an excerpt from his book, A Religion of One's Own. He writes about astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who traveled beyond Earth more than 280,000 miles. More writes, Edgar Mitchell found personal religion in a spacecraft heading home to Earth from a visit to the moon. Sitting in his small space vehicle on his way back during the 1971 Apollo 14 mission, Mitchell suddenly had an awe-inspiring view of his blue, jewel-like home planet. Looking at it, he said, he had a glimpse of divinity. There he was, a highly skilled, intricately wired, and suited up astronaut sitting in a cramped, computer-controlled space vehicle, surrounded by the high-tech paraphernalia of his day, having a near mystical experience. Later, he would write, the sensation was altogether foreign. Somehow, I felt tuned in to something much larger than myself, something much larger than the planet in the window, something incomprehensibly big. Mitchell's comet was not a simple metaphor tossed off in the excitement of the moment. The vision he had in space changed his life. He developed a whole new way of looking at the world and became a leader in a new kind of knowledge, noetics, that he himself described as being on the cusp of religion and science. His story, a parable for our time, hints at how we might discover a new and more effective way of being religious in an era of science. And now we'll have a musical presentation, Feeling Good.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel.
Sun in the sky, you know how I feel.
Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling Fish in the sea, you know how I feel.
Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Blossom in the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life
For me, and I'm feeling Dragonfly under the sun, you know what I mean.
Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean.
And this whole world is a new world, it's a whole world for me, and I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
I'm feeling good.
And I'm feeling good.
And I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good. I hope you are as well. I imagine that you have heard the parable of the elephant before, but even so, it is worth retelling. Like the blindfolded people getting to know an elephant, we cannot fully know each other or ourselves if we only listen to one part of who we are. We have bodies, minds, and I believe souls or spirits. As our Unitarian Universalist first principle affirms, each of us is worthy of respect, whatever our physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual differences or abilities. Yet Unitarian Universalists have often acted as if our bodies exist only to carry our minds. We tend to prioritize reason and rationality and dismiss other ways of knowing. We often deem emotionalism too manipulative, intuition too imaginative, experience too particular, and faith too questionable. All but reason seem too untrustworthy. Yet our lives include all of these ways of knowing. Our bodies, minds, and spirits contribute to what we know about ourselves and the world. So let's engage all of who we are. Let's integrate all parts of our being and live whole, undivided lives. Right now, you're listening to my words and your mind is engaged. At least I hope it's engaged. Except for your ears, your hearing aids, or maybe your eyes if you're lip reading, your body likely is just resting. You might cough or yawn, but otherwise I hope you are engaged with your mind. Ministers hope to stimulate your mind with soaring words, and we hope to inspire new perspectives and motivate great acts of love. We offer many, many words in readings, sermons, hymns, prayers, and meditations. We like words. Not surprisingly, Unitarian Universalism emerged out of the age of reason or enlightenment, when rational, critical thinking was highly esteemed. Humanists outnumbered theists and deists in our pews. Rituals were removed, hymn singing reduced or eliminated, and academic lectures replaced more traditional worship. God was rarely named. Fortunately, we're not so rational these days. We encourage singing and dancing. We light chalices. We share joys and sorrows, and we engage in a variety of other rituals. These changes occurred because we realized we were ignoring vital aspects of what it means to be human. We still heed the guidance of reason and results of science, as our humanist fourth source affirms. But this same source warns us against idolatries of the mind. By naming 5 additional sources of religious wisdom, we affirm no single source can be eternal truth, capital T truth, for all people in all places or for all time. We embrace diverse theologies, though humanism remains central for many. These other sources name ideas not verifiable by science. The first includes direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit. The fourth speaks of God's love. The sixth refers to a sacred circle of life. These are not necessarily scientific. Nor can science fully explain the feeling of oneness or connection to something larger, as astronaut Mitchell described during his experience in space. He had a soulful moment in the midst of scientific endeavors. We need our minds, but without the valuable input of our bodies and spirits, life would be less amazing. Let's take a moment to appreciate our bodies, not just our minds. As I guide you, be considerate of your body's needs, abilities, or differences. I recognize our bodies vary, but I hope everyone feels included as I name all our possible parts. And now, please get comfortable wherever you are. If visual distractions are a concern for you, close your eyes. If you have feet, can you feel them making contact with another surface, like a floor or footrest? Joyfully wiggle toes and flex ankles. Moving upward, can you tense and release the muscles of your calves or thighs or buttocks? Make sure they're awake. If you're able, swivel your torso a bit and feel the muscles supporting your back. Lift shoulders up and down or around to loosen any tension you might be holding. Gently rock or roll your neck and head. Try to smile broadly. Even laugh to release those stress-reducing chemicals that will course throughout your body. Take a deep breath in and out. In and out. Appreciate that your lungs and other organs keep you alive. Imagine your life's blood flowing through your veins and your loving heart. We can celebrate the wonder of our bodies, whatever their ability and however they present themselves. They give us life. Hallelujah. Let's turn our attention back outside our bodies. Despite our wonderful bodies, many feel shame or disgust for them. Some religions claim our bodies are sinful and in need of saving. Some religious orders require celibacy, reject worldly comforts, approve flagellation, and or severely limit the body's basic needs, believing these will bring about union with God or enlightenment. Cosmetic and other beauty industries tell us our bodies are imperfect and undesirable unless we look like their models or buy their products. If our bodies don't conform to our gender identity, if we've experienced physical abuse, or if we consider ourselves disabled, we may feel betrayed by our bodies. Failure to be perfect as determined by an oppressive culture can result in bodily harm and bullying. If we listen to our hearts and souls instead, we know our bodies are beautiful and worthy of respect. Our reproductive organs shouldn't dictate whom we love or what gender we identify with, and no person should be physically abused or emotionally harmed. Be proud of your body. It is resilient and strong. We can focus on how amazing they are and how well they adapt, heal, reproduce, learn, feel compassion, and experience love. Equally amazing are our sensory organs, which teach us about our world. Although we experience variation in our five senses, we can appreciate what we may have, be it eyes that see, ears that hear, noses that smell, skin that feels, and mouths that taste. But we also sense the world around us by how we move through it, whether by foot, wheelchair, prosthetic, or other assistance. Let's get comfortable once again. This time, try to connect with your mind's internal eye. Some may want to close external eyes to better imagine a beautiful place. Perhaps one you know well, or maybe just wish to visit. Bring that place to mind. Add whatever elements your imagined place needs to increase its beauty, bring you greater joy, or inspire a feeling of awe and wonder. What might you see in your picture? What might you hear? Might it have a welcome scent? What might you wish to touch? What emotion might it elicit in you? Feel what connection you have to this beautiful place, perhaps through a memory of happy times. Take a moment to imagine this place. Now save this place in your mind, knowing you can return to it anytime you wish. For now, let's bring our attention back, away from our mind's eye. I believe we harbor souls or spirits within. Like many religious concepts, soul or spirit is without substance. You can't touch it like you can touch your face. Our minds seem to center in our brains, but souls are heartfelt. Our hearts circulate blood. They only symbolize something more. Soul refers to a non-bodily essence. It's the totality of a person's character, emotions, beliefs, values, and experiences, especially those that connect us to something beyond ourselves. In worship, our souls or spirits may respond to inspiring words, beautiful artwork, or glorious music. We connect with each other when we sing, hold hands, or witness something we believe is holy or divine. Our souls are nurtured by communing with nature, being with those we love, or listening to amazing poetry. Our lives would be less if we didn't respond to our experiences in these deep, spirit-filled ways. In a moment, we're going to sing a chant together that may touch our soul, foster a feeling of oneness, or create acceptance for our whole bodies. Glenn will lead us in repeating the words several times, ending with a time of silence. The words appear in the order of service. They are, "May I be blessed and whole in body, mind, and soul." And our community singers will help us chant. May I be blessed and whole in body, mind, and soul.
Each week, we hold a time in our worship service for the sharing of significant joys and sorrows. This morning, as we celebrate worship remotely, I will drop a stone for all joys and sorrows that are in our hearts.
I'd like to speak one sorrow, personal sorrow, but I know is also a sorrow shared by many Unitarian Universalists, and that is the passing of spiritual leader Thich Nhat Hanh. For those of us who are interested in Buddhism or practice Buddhism, Thich Nhat Hanh was a significant figure for us, and he was a friend of Unitarian Universalist congregations. My home congregation in Fairfax, Virginia, was one of the first UU congregations to host a mindfulness practice center. And at the opening of that practice center in the late 90s, Thich Nhat Hanh came and spoke, and I had the privilege of hearing him speak. He was certainly a gentle, peaceful soul who will be missed. His wisdom, however, will live on in his words and the people who follow him. And to that sorrow, I invite you now into a time of prayer. These past 2 weeks, we have witnessed the awesome beauty and power of Mother Nature. Her gentle falling snow alongside treacherous freezing rain has beauty, but also challenge. And just as the weather has been stormy and cold, our hearts may feel encased in ice as we live through global threats of war, political division, and too many threats to name. May the warmth of this community melt the iciness of these days. May the warmth of our love wrap us in a comfy blanket to protect us. May the warmth of our hope and the fire of our commitment to peace and justice prevent our hearts from remaining frozen. And may we look forward to a spring thaw for our bodies, minds, and spirits. Amen. Ashe. Shalom. Please remain seated as we sing our meditation hymn. It is 10:09 in our teal hymnals, but you probably won't need them to repeat these phrases. Come forward.
I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love when I breathe in. I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love when I breathe in. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
I have a few more words to share with you this morning. They are from a poem by a Buddhist-influenced poet, David Budbill. His poem is titled Tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are bones and ash, the roots of weeds poking through our skulls. Today, simple clothes, empty mind, full stomach, alive, aware, right here, right now. Drunk on music, who needs wine? Come on, sweetheart, let's go dancing while we've got feet. Now, I like Bud Bill's seize the day attitude, but we can dance whether we have feet or not. So when the Spirit moves you, I hope you will dance. Let us dance to our closing hymn, number 311, Let It Be a Dance. We're going to extinguish our
Please remain standing in body or spirit. You will find the words for extinguishing the chalice in your online order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Before we sing Shalom, a reminder that you can donate to the Share the Plate for UU Justice United online through the church's website. All offerings will be appreciated. And I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge the beautiful music that was shared with us this morning. So thank you. And now it's time for us to sing Shalom. Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my friends. Shalom. Shalom. We'll meet again. We'll meet again. Shalom. Shalom.